The baby shower looked perfect. Pink balloons floated everywhere, champagne glasses sparkled, and guests laughed. Then Marcus decided to make his big announcement. "I have someone special for you all to meet," he said with a smirk toward the entrance. "My ex-wife, Sarah, the woman who couldn't give me children." Everyone gasped as Sarah walked through the doorway. But she wasn't alone. 4 identical toddlers in matching outfits walked beside her. Each one had his eyes, his smile, his distinctive dimples. "Say hello to your sons," Sarah said, her voice calm and strong. The room exploded in shock. Marcus had planned the perfect revenge, but it just became his worst nightmare and the start of a family he thought he'd never have. "I want to invite Sarah to the baby shower," Marcus Johnson said, smiling as he typed on his laptop. "I want her to see everything she missed out on." Before we continue with this story, I need you to do something. If you're watching this, please subscribe to Laven Folktales right now. Click on that subscribe icon to subscribe for free and turn on that notification bell. Hit the like button to like this video and comment below with your country so I know where you're watching from. Trust me, you won't want to miss a single moment of what I'm about to tell you. His best friend James looked up from his coffee, eyes wide. "Sarah, your ex-wife? That's a terrible idea, Marcus." It was a bright Tuesday morning in Atlanta. Marcus sat in his corner office at Peachtree Financial, where he worked as an investment banker. On his desk sat a framed photo of his pregnant wife, Amber. Their baby girl was due in 3 months. "Why not?" Marcus asked, leaning back in his leather chair. "It's the perfect chance to show her what a real family looks like." James shook his head. "It's been 3 years since your divorce. Why do you still need to hurt her?" Marcus stared at his baby shower guest list. The event was scheduled for next month at the Grand Atlanta Hotel. "Sarah couldn't give me children?" Marcus said coldly. "Everyone knows that's why I left her. Now I have a beautiful wife who's pregnant with my daughter. Sarah should see what she couldn't provide." After James left, Marcus pulled out an invitation card. He wrote Sarah's name carefully, adding a personal note at the bottom. "Come see what a real family looks like." He smiled as he sealed the envelope. 1 week later in Boston, Sarah Williams opened her mailbox. Among the bills was a cream envelope with Atlanta postage. She recognized the handwriting immediately. Inside her living room, Sarah opened the invitation, a baby shower for Marcus and Amber Johnson, but the handwritten note made her pause. "Come see what a real family looks like." Sarah didn't cry. She didn't tear up the invitation. Instead, she looked toward her living room doorway, where 4 identical little boys played with building blocks. "Michael, be careful with your brother's tower," she called gently. All 4 boys looked up at once, mirror images of each other. They had the same dark hair, same brown eyes, same dimples when they smiled. Marcus's dimples. Her best friend Lisa arrived 30 minutes later. "What's that?" she asked, seeing the invitation. Sarah handed it to her. "Marcus invited me to his baby shower." Lisa read the note, her eyes widening. "This is cruel, even for him." "Are you okay?" Sarah smiled, watching her boys play. "I'm fine. Actually, I think I'll go." "You'll what?" Lisa nearly dropped her bag. "Why would you do that?" "Marcus left me 3 years ago because I couldn't have children," Sarah said. "He humiliated me, told everyone I was defective." "I remember," Lisa said quietly. "What he doesn't know," Sarah continued, "is that our last IVF round worked. 6 months after our divorce, I used one of our stored embryos." She gestured to the boys. "I got quadruplets, 4 identical boys." Lisa stared. "And Marcus has no idea?" "None. I moved to Boston for my job. I never told him after the way he treated me." "So you're going to the baby shower to tell him?" Sarah nodded. "It's time he knows about his sons." The next morning, Marcus told his wife Amber about sending the invitation to Sarah. "I still think 50 people is too many," Amber said from their bed, her hand on her pregnant belly. "The Johnson Reynolds baby deserves the best," Marcus replied. Later, Amber found the guest list on Marcus's desk. She scrolled through until one name caught her eye. "Marcus," she called, walking into the living room, "why is your ex-wife on our baby shower guest list? I thought it would be nice to include her." "Nice?" Amber's voice rose. "How is inviting your ex-wife to our baby shower nice?" Marcus's smile faded. "Fine. I wanted her to see what she missed out on, what she couldn't give me. Amber placed her hands protectively on her belly. You're using our baby, using me, to hurt someone else. It's not like that, Marcus protested. It's exactly like that, Amber said quietly. She turned to leave, then paused. What happened to you? Marcus, who are you becoming? As she walked away, Marcus's phone buzzed. Sarah Williams had RSVP'd yes to the baby shower. Marcus smiled, unaware that in 3 weeks, his perfect world would completely shatter. 3 weeks later, Sarah checked her appearance one last time. Her simple blue dress was elegant but understated. Her brother Ryan stood nearby in his military uniform. Are you sure about this? Ryan asked. I've never been more sure, Sarah replied. Downstairs, the quadruplets sat on the couch in identical blue sweaters. Sarah knelt in front of them. Mommy has to go on a trip with Uncle Ryan. You'll stay with Grandma and Grandpa for a few days. Will you bring us presents? Asked Mark. Sarah smiled. Of course. Her parents arrived to pick up the boys. Her mother, Jennifer, pulled her aside. Are you sure this is the right thing? Marcus could make your life difficult. He already did, Sarah said quietly, but the boys deserve to know their father. At the Grand Atlanta Hotel, Marcus stood in the crystal ballroom watching staff arrange tables. Pink roses, champagne fountains, elaborate desserts. Everything was perfect. Amber entered slowly, one hand supporting her back. The room looks beautiful. Marcus barely listened, checking his phone for the 5th time in 10 minutes. Sarah's simple acceptance of his invitation bothered him more than he wanted to admit. This is the 3rd time today I've caught you checking for messages from her, Amber said quietly. I still can't believe you invited your ex-wife. The day of the shower arrived. At 1:45, guests filled the ballroom. Marcus stood near the entrance, checking his watch repeatedly. At exactly 2 egg, Sarah stepped into the lobby. She could hear music and voices from the crystal ballroom. Taking a deep breath, she walked toward the entrance. The noise dimmed as she entered. Conversation stopped. Heads turned. Marcus stood near the main table. When he noticed the sudden quiet, he turned around. His eyes locked with Sarah's, and a triumphant smile spread across his face. He walked toward her, champagne glass in hand. Sarah, you made it. Hello, Marcus. Marcus looked around the room, enjoying the attention. He raised his glass. Everyone, I'd like you to welcome my ex-wife, Sarah, the woman who couldn't give me children. Gasps echoed through the room. Amber turned bright red with embarrassment. Sarah maintained her composure. Hello, everyone. Congratulations. Marcus and Amber. Marcus's smile grew wider. Thank you for coming to see what a real family looks like. Sarah looked directly into his eyes. Actually, Marcus, I wanted to ask you something. Do you remember those embryos we created during our marriage, from our last IVF round? Marcus's smile faltered. What about them? Do you ever wonder what happened to them? They were destroyed after the divorce, I assume. No, Sarah said quietly. They weren't. She turned toward the entrance and nodded. Everyone followed her gaze. Ryan appeared in the doorway, holding the hands of 2 small boys. Behind him, Sarah's parents each held another identical boy's hand. 4 identical little boys in matching blue outfits walked into the room. Dark hair, brown eyes, and Marcus's distinctive dimples when they smiled. Marcus, Sarah said clearly, I'd like you to meet Michael, Matthew, Mark, and Malcolm, your sons. The room erupted. Marcus stood frozen, his champagne glass nearly slipping from his hand. That's impossible, he whispered. The last IVF round worked, Sarah continued steadily. You left before I could tell you. These boys are 2 years old. They're your sons, Marcus. Marcus's mother, Elizabeth, pushed through the crowd, tears streaming down her face. She knelt in front of the quadruplets. Oh my God, she whispered. Look at you. You have his eyes, his smile. Michael, the bravest, stepped forward and touched her cheek. Why are you crying? Elizabeth laughed through her tears. Because I'm so happy to meet you. Marcus still hadn't moved. Amber struggled to stand from her chair, her mother helping her up. You told everyone she couldn't have children, Amber said, her voice breaking. You humiliated her, and all this time. Marcus finally snapped out of his shock. This is ridiculous. This is some kind of trick. It's not a trick, Sarah said. They're your biological sons. I used one of our stored embryos 6 months after our divorce. The boys looked around curiously at the decorations, too young to understand the drama. Marcus found his voice. Why didn't you tell me? You had no right to keep this from me. No right? Sarah asked incredulously. You left me, Marcus. You told everyone I was defective. You destroyed our marriage because I couldn't give you what you wanted. Elizabeth stood between them. Not now, Marcus. These boys don't need to see you angry. Mark grabbed Sarah's hand. Mommy, is that man mad? It's okay, sweetie, Sarah assured him. Marcus stared at the boy. The child was his mirror image. Amber approached slowly. You told me she was broken. You said she couldn't have children. This doesn't change anything between us, Marcus said. It changes everything, Amber replied. If you lied about this, what else have you lied about? Elizabeth knelt beside the quadruplets again. Would you boys like to meet your grandmother? Are you our grandma? Malcolm asked. Yes, I am, Elizabeth said, tears filling her eyes again. Where is our daddy? Matthew asked. All eyes turned to Marcus. He started, then stopped. This is impossible. DNA doesn't lie, Marcus, Sarah said. Look at them. They have your eyes, your dimples. The boys immediately moved behind Sarah when Marcus stepped toward them. They don't know you, Sarah explained. They've never met you. Because you kept them from me, Marcus's voice rose. Because you didn't want them, Sarah shot back. You wanted a child so badly you left me. But when I finally had your children, you were already gone. I want a DNA test, Marcus said, his voice shaking. I need proof. Sarah nodded calmly. I thought you might. I've already scheduled one for tomorrow morning at Atlanta Medical Center. 9 o'clock. Marcus stared in disbelief. You planned all of this. I received your invitation, Marcus, Sarah replied. Come see what a real family looks like, you wrote. So here I am with your sons. Marcus looked from the boys to Sarah to Amber, who refused to meet his eyes. I'll be at the medical center tomorrow, he said finally. As the boys explored the room, Marcus's phone buzzed. A text from Amber. Don't come home tonight. The baby shower was over. 2 years later. Higher, Daddy! Make it higher! Michael shouted as Marcus stretched a blanket across chairs in his Cambridge living room. If we make it any higher, the whole fort might fall down, Marcus replied, securing it with books. Marcus watched his 4-year-old sons arrange pillows inside their fort. The afternoon sun streamed through the windows of his modest home, just 3 blocks from Sarah's house. 2 years had changed everything. After months of supervised visits, parenting classes, and weekly video calls, Marcus had left Atlanta. He'd taken a position at a smaller Boston investment firm, sacrificing prestige to be near his sons. In the kitchen, Sarah arranged candles on a birthday cake while her husband David unpacked plates. They had married last year, with the Quadruplets as ring bearers. They're so excited about the party, David said, wrapping his arms around Sarah. It's still strange sometimes, Sarah admitted, watching Marcus play with the boys. Seeing him with them like this? You made it possible, David reminded her. The doorbell rang. Amber stood on the porch holding her 2-year-old daughter Lily's hand. Sorry we're late. Someone couldn't decide which shoes to wear. I wanted pink ones, Lily announced, pointing to her sparkly sneakers. After her divorce from Marcus, Amber had surprised everyone by moving to Boston. The awkwardness between her and Sarah had gradually transformed into friendship. Lily ran to Marcus. Daddy, look at my shoes! Marcus scooped her up. Very pink, very beautiful. The quadruplets called from their fort. Lily, come see! More guests arrived, Elizabeth flying in from Atlanta, James with his fiancée, Ryan with his girlfriend, Sarah's parents. The house filled with laughter. As Sarah arranged presents, Amber approached her with an envelope. Photos of Lily, Amber explained, for your family album. Thank you, Sarah said, genuinely touched. In the backyard, Marcus helped David set up the grill. The 2 men had developed an unexpectedly comfortable relationship. Next camping trip, we should take them together, David suggested. I'd like that, Marcus said, meaning it. Marcus stepped onto the porch for a moment of quiet. Sarah joined him with lemonade. Hard to believe they're 4 already, Marcus said. I miss so much. But you're here now, Sarah said. That's what matters to them. When I sent you that invitation 2 years ago, I wanted to hurt you, Marcus admitted. I know. I lost everything I thought was important, Marcus continued. My big house, prestigious job, trophy wife. He shook his head. I was such an ass. Yes, you were, Sarah agreed without bitterness. Now I have a smaller house, a less impressive job, and my life revolves around school drop-offs and bedtime stories. Marcus smiled. And I've never been happier. Inside, it was time for cake. The quadruplets stood in front of it with Lily insisting on joining them. Make a wish, Jennifer instructed as candles were lit. The quadruplets looked at each other, communicating silently. Then they all leaned forward together and blew out the candles in perfect synchronization. Marcus found himself standing between Amber and Sarah, watching all 5 of his children. What do you think they wished for? Amber asked. Sarah shook her head. Look at them. The boys were laughing, showing Lily how to cut the cake. They don't need to wish for anything. They have everything they need. As cake was passed around, Marcus watched the room. His children, his ex-wives, his parents, his friends. 2 years ago, he had invited Sarah to see what a real family looks like. Looking at this gathering now, complex, unconventional, but bound by love, he realized Sarah had indeed shown him exactly that. Not the perfect image he had once chased, but this messy, forgiving group who had learned to put the children's needs before their own pride. Daddy, you need cake, Malcolm called, holding up a plate. Coming, buddy, Marcus replied. As he sat surrounded by his children, Marcus caught Sarah's eye across the room. She smiled at him, not the smile of someone who had won or lost, but of a mother who had done right by her children. He nodded back, acknowledging how far they had come. A family built not from perfect plans, but from forgiveness and second chances.